Let's start with the leak
Thanks.
itself. Has this ever happened before in the history of the Supreme Court?
No, a leak like this is completely unprecedented. I have never heard of a draft opinion leaking out before the case was decided. This is a shameful and unprecedented chapter in our Supreme Court's history, and it's going to be a real test of leadership for Chief Justice John Roberts, who needs to get to the bottom of this.
Brad, you heard the justices during the hearings back in December. Many observers predicted this is the way the justices were leaning back then. Is there any chance, Brad, the votes could line up differently when the High Court releases the official opinion this summer, or is this seemingly a done deal?
I think there's a chance, but it's very, very unlikely. As you said, at the oral argument, it appeared that there were 5 votes to overturn Roe versus Wade. And I think the big news coming out of this leak is that we now have confirmation. There are 5 votes to overturn Roe versus Wade clearly and unequivocally. There is a draft opinion. Nothing is final until the opinion comes out. And in fact, the last time that Roe versus Wade was really on the chopping block in Casey versus Planned Parenthood, there's a lot of reporting that a few days after the first draft was circulated to the justices, one of the justices, namely Justice Kennedy, changed his mind to save Roe versus Wade. So with abortion, a case of this magnitude, you never say never, but it would be very surprising if anyone changes their votes at this time. And I think even if the leak maybe was designed to put pressure on someone, one of the 5 in the majority to side with John Roberts or the liberal justices, I suspect that this leak is only going to strengthen the resolve and solidify the 5 who have already voted to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, we'll see if they wait till late June or early July to actually issue the decision, or if it might now come sooner than that. Brett, if the Supreme Court does decide to overturn Roe, what would that mean for abortion in states with these trigger laws on either side of the issue?
Well, if the court overrules Roe versus Wade, that doesn't end the debate on abortion. It really just restores it and restarts it. So then it will be up to the legislatures, to the people's representatives in every individual state to pass abortion laws or restrictions as they see fit. So in a state like California, the day after Roe versus Wade is struck down, the abortion law in California will look exactly the same the day after as it did the day before. There will be relatively liberal access to abortion. In states like Mississippi, the plaintiff in this case, in South Carolina, in Florida, abortion will be much more substantially restricted. So instead of a one-size-fits-all federal solution, what we'll have are 50 different solutions depending on the preference of the voters in those states.
Brad, if you can, in a sentence or two, if this opinion ultimately holds, what does this do to the confidence of the court in the future rulings, particularly as recent polls show the majority of Americans support upholding Roe?
Well, this is going to be a generational victory for the conservative legal movement. And Justice Sotomayor, she asked at oral argument, how is the court going to survive the stench of overruling Roe versus Wade? And I think she has the question backwards. The politicization of the court, you can trace that back to Roe. The only way to get rid of the stench is to remove its source, to get the court out of political questions like Roe versus Wade, to return this to the democratic process. That's the way that we will be able to move forward with some sort of solution to this vexing problem.
Brad, we're unfortunately out of time. We'll have to leave it there. Brad Lingo with the Robertson Center for Constitutional Law at Regent University. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.